Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, one that's sure to be quite interesting. Certainly different from the usual match here, even though it is going to be played on Supreme Isthmus. What I have for you today is a 16 versus 16 matchup. It's been a while since we've taken a look at one of these crazy games that's overly stacked with commanders, a couple of them AFK right here for the blue and red teams and all that sort of stuff. Lovely stuff as we go around right here. There's a whole bunch of fun settings, so I'll cover some of the most important. First of all, Evolved Commanders is online, or Evo Commanders, however you want to call it. Evolving Commanders means it's essentially replacing the unbalanced commanders, or the Unba commanders that used to exist. Now they evolve slowly over time, they gain new abilities, new powers, and they're very, very powerful. But one of the other things is that they have these little effigies. So when the commander dies, it actually teleports back to its effigy and is replaced. You get one for free at the start of the game, and then after that, I think it costs you a couple thousand metal to rebuild. The other thing, of course, is that this is a 16v16, and we've taken a look at some massive games in the past right here, and I think almost all the times we play on basically land maps or sea maps, but today it's going to be a little bit of both right here, as we do have Supreme Isthmus coming up and running right now. This should definitely be a treat. So, enough of an introduction. Why don't we meet our blue team and red team leaders? Our blue team leaders spawning on what would normally be the front lines, but because of the start boxes, which were essentially like this for the red team, and basically the map was split down the middle is what I'm trying to say. The red and the blue team both going at each other's throats right here. Some of the red team on the blue team side, some of the blue team on the red team side. Everybody doing their very best right here. You can see commanders going down, teleported back, and then going down again. Evangelion going to be the first to snag a kill on a commander over here, as indeed that pink commander does lose both of his lives, and now a bunch of goblins run forward. So that's the other chain, or the other thing that's implemented in this game. We do indeed have Legion enabled, so some of those Legion units going to be coming across and trying to do some good work right here. Very, very nice. Now, Anarami, the blue team leader right here, 35 true skill and already sending units out to the map already. We've got Yandere trying to hold the front line and set up metal extractors and all that good stuff. Got torpedo launchers up and running, and you do have to be careful of those. Torpedo launchers, very dangerous, very difficult to deal with. Trying to blast this one down. Pawns, can't shoot it. Ah, that's funny. Pawns not with enough height to fire their cannons above the water right there. It means they won't actually be able to shoot at that torpedo launcher. And with Cat Lordy managing to hold the line right there, that means this metal extractor will be denied. So nicely done by the pink commander to get a torpedo launcher up and running quick enough that we can deny the commander moving forward right over here. Wouldn't mind seeing maybe the purple commander go for a little bit of a surround, set up some torpedo launchers around the pink commander, but at least for the time being, this is so odd, huh? Rocketeers engaging with torpedo launchers. Definitely quite tricky. Mithron Urudo, the brown commander here, snagging a kill on the lime green commander right there. I think that's Shoujo. I want to say that's Shoujo. I could be wrong, though. Too many colors in these 16v16s. One of the things that we always have trouble with, figuring out who is what color. But this is very strange, because effectively what this means... Oh, it wasn't Shoujo. Shoujo is hanging out over here on the island, living their best life. Okay, so that must have been another green commander. Must have been... Maybe it was Palm. Could be Palm. Might have been Osama bin Klappen as well, or Sub-10. Anyways, one of those commanders gone down. A couple of Martyr here, the suicide bomber planes flying in here. They basically just have a bomb strapped to their fuselage. They're a rocket strapped to a bomb strapped to a detonator cap. Down they go. One of the best changes that Legion has ever received is the Martyr. Yeah, no longer exploding when it dies. It used to be that if you killed it, it would still fall out of the skies and damage things. That is no longer the case, which is, yeah, definitely a lot better as far as gameplay goes, because certainly that was quite frustrating to shoot down all the planes and still receive the bombing. Rocketeers now going up against torpedo launchers. Such a strange matchup, one I certainly haven't seen before, but there we go. Able to, with decent micro, blast down those torpedo launchers from long range. Not bad whatsoever. It's interesting that pawns are essentially ineffective here. They're just barely submerged enough. I wonder if this water level has been figured out. I am curious to see what the water level is. I could go look it up, and then, you know what, why don't I go look it up? Hold on one second. Okay, just double checked. The water level is 40. So on Supreme Isthmus, setting the water level to 40, in case you wanted to recreate this. Apparently that's just enough to rise it up above the little flatlands in the center of the map that usually is your choke point for land units. Apparently 40 is exactly where it needs to go in order to have that happen. Oh, that's weird. Somehow or another, Yandere has just received an effigy somewhere over there. There we go. You can rebuild it, but you can only have one at a time, but there it is. Yandere setting up a new effigy over here. I wonder if they could be killed. They have 4,000 health, so it looks like they certainly could. Might be an interesting strategy. Try and kill a commander's backline effigy without them noticing. That way they die in the first kill rather than being teleported to safety. Still a battle over here on the southern side between D-Bone and, oh gosh, 11033566694, otherwise known as the Dark Purple player, from now until the end of this match. Bombers coming up right here. That's an interesting choice. We're going up against a frontline enemy just mere footsteps away from us, and we're going into air units. Certainly tricky, but I guess with the support from some of those heat ray tanks, those Helios skirmisher tanks coming out now from, who is that? One Flying Viking. We are going to be able to hold this line, and you know what? I mean, I suppose those bombers could do some significant damage. They could certainly drop on top of this lab to try and kill it, but they are only Stormbringers, which don't do very, very well against, well, anything. Specifically, they're great carpet bombers, but they're not very good at, yeah, targeting specific structures. You definitely want dam busters or whirlwinds or anything like that. They could certainly shut down some of this economy. That's well worth it. Finding the solar panels over here is nice. With Ranaruodo, I hope that name is pronounced correctly. There's the D-gun, nicely done. Lines it up and manages to blast away all of those Helios. We do also have a Decurion. Man, this thing got a little bit of a reskin. It looks awesome. Look at that long-nosed minigun. Beautiful. Yeah, this tank really received a glow up. I think most of the Legion tanks actually received a glow up, I would say. But here we go. Now we're getting into the part of the game that I was a little bit, well, I was wondering if this was going to happen, because with this much Navy over here, I wondered if it was going to be reasonable that essentially going for Navy to contest this midsection would be more viable than going for anything else, and I think that's exactly what it is. Oh no, medium tanks blasted apart right here by torpedo launchers. What are they doing? Oh no, medium tanks AFK right now, and it means hundreds and hundreds of metal down the drain as the torpedo launchers farm up a delicious, delicious kill count. 5 kills on that torpedo launcher, 6 on this one. And it's only going to continue going up right there as they continue to blast away at those tanks. We do have hounds out now to finally deal with some of those torpedo launchers from outside of their range, but suffice it to say, these have gotten well more than their value's worth in metal and kills right here. 170 metal for a torpedo launcher to kill 225 medium tanks, basically only having to kill 1 medium tank to become efficient. And they just killed about a half dozen, maybe more, probably more. Misa Cage, the Hot Pink Commander, moving forward right now. Actually, moving within range of the destroyers is a little risky. Looks like we're going for something cheeky. Maybe to try and pop out of the water and hit a D-gun on the blue laboratory here. Yeah, that looks like what we're going for. D-gun away and the laboratory falls right here, but it will come at the cost of this commander's life, or at the very least it should. That being said, Misa might have a effigy up and running, and I think he does. With the effigy up and running, Misa should teleport back here. Away he goes. Just like that, all the way back to his base, nice and safe. 0% HP, one HP remaining over here in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You can see that that commander is on death's doorstep, but still safe and sound. It's an interesting change, very, very interesting change to allow those to teleport to safety. But it is certainly, shall we say, it allows you to play more aggressively with your commander. Yeah. While it's at high health, you can go be way more aggressive with it, because even if it dies, you know you'll be teleported back to relative safety. Interesting. Interesting. Sort of exactly what MKX8 in chat is saying right now. Allows you to do risky stuff and not lose the commander. And I think I agree 100%. Torpedo launchers firing away at the hounds now. That's not supposed to happen right here, but the hounds have been a little bit misrallied right there, so they did lose one of their members. Destroyers also fire, or destroyer singular firing away now. Destroyers of the blue commander. Destroyer and 2 frigates. Trying to hold the line right here, but there's just too many forces. The pink commander, the orange commander, both pumping out boats left, right, and center. They've got about 100 herring all firing away right here. Launching their little sea-to-sea missiles, sea-to-shore missiles. And just like that, Anorami is knocked out of the water. Suddenly this becomes a clash of the Southern Sea versus the Northern Sea, but there's no investment in the Southern Sea here. Very, very strange for Woode, who apparently has not invested very heavily. Has invested into T2 tech, but has not invested into hardly any naval economy. Shoujo over here, exactly the opposite way. Has a naval economy up and growing, but we are building it right next to a bunch of E-converters. That has me a little bit, yeah, a little bit shaky in the boots here, as those, yeah, suddenly those E-converters pop and you lose all of this here. Anorami trying to use whatever of the commander's power there is left, but away it goes. Back to its position over here. It only takes a single missile to kill this commander, though. It's got 1 HP. Oh my goodness. Boom goes the commander for the blue commander, just like that. That key piece of the puzzle falls weird, cries out Anarami, as that commander does die after being teleported back to relative safety, leaving essentially no offensives on the front line. Just like that, this entire match is flipped on its head. And the red team now takes a commanding lead over here. Despite this push over on the right-hand side being extremely successful, we've pushed back the defenses, we've pushed back the units, we've broken the labs, and we've made our way into the hearts of Mazda 42 and Mithran Uruodo, the brown and slightly less brown commander. Slightly lighter brown commander. And the Lancers, the Helios, the Curions, all those tanks, all those good old Legion vehicles starting to move forward here. That heavy laser tower is annoying, but with a couple of shell shockers or barrages or anything in long enough range, you should be able to take it down. Shouldn't be the end of the world, but this investment to clear this left-hand side has been immense. And now we have to rededicate forces. We have to put all those numbers back onto feeding these frontliners so that they don't die here as these boats start to move forward. This navy is nowhere near big enough to contest this other one. Well, you know what? This is a lot of herrings. This navy looks a lot bigger than it is because it's like 90% herrings. It's 20 herrings, two destroyers, and 2 frigates. You know what? Maybe I over-exaggerated the effectiveness those herrings could have. If these boats are kited properly, if the blue naval commander manages to engage properly, I think there's probably hope that we could see some sort of a naval combat that's relatively even. Jammin', as well as Mazda 42, as well as Mithrano Rudo, all going for naval bases right here as D-Bone moves forward. We do have the effigies over here, which is interesting. I believe they're undetected. Yeah, they're very difficult to spot. I believe they have radar, they're stealthy, and they have no cloak cost. Yeah, so they are basically impossible to detect unless you run face first into them. My favorite form of detection. Face first nose smackage. This right-hand side has been a bloody battlefield. Evangelion, Lange 27, and S Leopard. Anarami also given a commander too. That's nice. The blue commander still in the game and able to rebuild at this point. Once these commanders level up, I believe they can build T2 metal extractors. If I'm not wrong, let's check one of these. What's the? Looks like at this point it's just the solar panels. We might have the thing turned down for the moment. We might have the evolution rate turned down. Makes them much more customizable, which I personally like quite a lot. Oh, here's one that's fairly well evolved. Let's see. Fairly well evolved. That sounds horrible. Anyway, S Leopard pushing forward right here. You can see the lightning gun that these commanders have is pretty hilarious. The Armada ones with this, like, yeah, I guess, I don't know, big lightning gun thing that they can fire, but they also have a pulsar beam they shoot out as well. Their lightning gun is very, very good, but you have to charge it up a lot. You can see it firing as quickly as it can, but once it's charged up, it can do a huge burst of damage. In fact, I think they're even, yeah, they're called specialized in hit-and-run tactics. Because basically you want to dive them into combat, let them discharge, and then get them back out to somewhere else. It seems like they also have a tremendous range drop-off because that cannon is not very, how you say, not very accurate. Its accuracy is very low. Anarami here, deflecting everything. Missiles, barrages, doesn't matter. Cortex Commander is very, very tanky. The shield they have can withstand a ridiculous amount of punishment. It's a level 4 Cortex Commander, and now it's blasting away at these boats with ridiculous efficiency. It's got a heavy laser arm cannon, it's got the I-beam lasers. The shields are very, very good. S Leopard managing to bring down the red commander there. That's a nice kill. Bringing down that commander charges up this commander's XP level. And now ravaging this base makes that commander even faster here. Its pulsar beam quite good too. The other thing is that they can cloak for basically nothing. You can see that they produce 9 metal and 125 energy. You can actually cloak these, and you can essentially keep them cloaked permanently, which is one of the most interesting things about them. The Cortex, or pardon me, the Armada ones. Bunch of resbots patching this commander back up, which is also quite nice. Is there any anti-air on the Armada commander? Ah, looks like it's a little lightning gun can hit air. Effectively, no, but ineffectively, yes. There we go. Slowly blasting down those gunships, but yeah, there's only so much you can do. I think gunships are the right call here. These commanders are in a lot of trouble. If these gunships were microed a little bit better, I think they'd probably be able to bring down this commander. One of them teleported away. It's S Leopard's commander is teleported away to safety here. Evangelion's commander and Anorami's commander managing to make it back to the front lines. Blue team pushing back despite losing the Navy. Pushing back. We do have torpedo gunships in the air. We actually have quite a nice Navy up and running right now from the purple and blue forces. They're up to T2 at this point. We've got plenty of constructors here as well. In a lovely position right now. But we need to clear out the skies, and we need to clear out the last remnants of this orange Navy. And I think using the T2 naval units as well as these platypus should be more than effective at doing that. Drone ship also up and running. These are very fun. Firing away their little drone boys. What are they called? The Nexus is what that drone ship is called. It's got a little... I don't know what to even call it. It's got a little drone on it. A little offensive drone that can fly around and do a bunch of damage. Very, very awesome. Very cool to see. We've also got these, which are the Trident, which are a depth charge drone carrier, which is super neat. Definitely a very cool siege option for if you're looking to do, if you're looking to siege a fortified position, like a T2 fortified position. That's a really cool option for doing that. Cacophony is now firing away at air forces. When you have to use cacophonies as anti-air defense, it does feel a little bit shaky, but certainly not the end of the world. Laser weapons, certainly the scourge of any Cortex commander, though. Those laser weapons are very effective past their shields. Plasma weaponry is not. Everyone investing in naval economies here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish commanders. 8-ish commanders. Whoa, Isaac Cage going for a little run by. Cloaked the commander and made it into the backline, and just like that, we've got an Armada commander tearing apart the base back here. Our Legion commander trying desperately to clean this up, but the commander dies and risked it all just to be teleported back to safety. My goodness. Commander effigy debris. Oh, interesting. So it leaves behind a debris still when you die, but it does at least get your commander out of there. Interesting. Very interesting. The commander suicide assault are terrifying, says Tenemos, and I think I agree. It definitely changes the way that you use commanders, because certainly Armada commanders can now be used as essentially these like spy commanders. They can sneak into enemy lines to try and obliterate them without really having to risk all too much. Just go back and put down a little effigy and you'll be perfectly fine. Not performing as well against ticks as I actually would have imagined here. That lightning gun so inaccurate that it actually feels like it doesn't even work very well against ticks. We do have napalm bombers, by the way, deploying large fields of napalm all over the place. Very annoying. Sequestering off different areas of the map and making them uninhabitable. Always a viable strategy. Dreadnought battleship up and running on the coastline right here for the pink commander. That's going to be Cat Lordy. And while that battleship is firing away, no Sheldon shall be safe on the coastline or anywhere else. Those battleships are quite terrifying. The Blue Navy is continuing to grow, though. We do have a T2 naval construction turret. Ah, I didn't know they added those. There's a bunch of cool T2 stuff, including the floating plasma deflectors as well. That's something that everybody has asked for here and there. Pretty interesting addition. We've also got the Scumbag and the gun platform, both little naval defensive setups. But the T2 naval construction tower has 600 build power, so essentially 3 construction towers in one. Makes it very, very effective and very space efficient. One of the best things about playing with the extra units enabled is those wonderful T2 construction towers. Legion commanders essentially turning into portable factories here, just firing out units left, right, and center. Pretty hilarious. Slick Scar, the yellow commander, in a lot of trouble here. Yeah, we've got the Legion and the Cortex commanders teaming up on this yellow one. And just like that, oh, no effigy down for the yellow commander. What on earth? Had plenty of resources in the bank in order to pull one down, but just never got around to it. So that's the yellow commander going down without being able to be teleported back, losing that critical piece of the army right there. Means that the blue team can continue to push very, very slowly, but very surely forward over on this right-hand side. The red team needs a massive victory right now in order to push forward. We are going for salamanders. Salamanders are the right call. We're going. Oh no, we're going into agitators. I don't think that's the right move. I think those agitators are going to be a real problem. So much metal invested on defense that can't even really shoot out that far. If these were T2, I wouldn't mind it because it can push those boats back so well. But it's just T1 agitators and Mithron here, the brown commander, ready to go do something about it. Pops out of the water and starts to fire away at whatever it can in the distance. Sharpshooter's actually seeming like a pretty good counter to the Cortex commander here. The plasma bouncing off as if it were nothing. But the sharpshooters definitely seem to shake those shields a little bit more so. Evangelion tearing apart the base over here of the red commander up on the high ground. That lightning cannon doing, well, not much against the airplanes, but fabulous work against the ticks and against the wind turbines. We're having target prioritization issues right there, but the commander is saved by his little EMP bomb that spawns off of the Armada commander, and just like that, dives back into the water here to try and save up a little bit of HP. Can this commander build construction turrets? We can. Okay, so we can build construction turrets, and I think at that point, oh, we still can't build T2 economy. I'm so surprised. Played the other day with T2, or what was it called? Evolved commanders on some Raptors, and it was good fun. But they could basically build T2 economics almost immediately, which was pretty interesting. Massive naval clash over here. Despots and battleships gonna win against Paladins every day, though. Paladins much more of a support class of unit. They are essentially meant as an anti-depth unit. Loads and loads of Cyclone. Oh, we have the air rework enabled. Oh my goodness. So many different things enabled for this game. The Cyclone heavy AoE seaplane fighter. They basically fire a big AoE missile, similar to a Banisher, I think. I think the Cortex one is literally a Banisher. I'm not sure what the Cyclone is. Wow, that's weird that that doesn't detect it. I guess they're undetectable. They must be undetectable because they were... That sharpshooter was right against that. It didn't manage to do anything. Yeah, laser weaponry seems to be the weakness of the Cortex commander here. You can see the heavy laser tower doing more than any of the plasma weaponry. I think it's because that shield has to absorb all of the damage, whereas for the plasma weapons, it just simply deflects it. Sharpshooters without energy here. Oh no. Oh, and those effigies heal up immediately too, so it looks like you can't kill those after all. Interesting. Taking cover behind the effigies is such a funny strat. Commander now with its flamethrower cannon. Firing napalm at whatever it can. Commander's over here go down, by the way. Anorami making a march towards the orange base. This guy leveling up like mad. But it won't last long as this commander dives on those T2 construction turrets and slowly starts to dismantle them. Aphis in a whole lot of trouble now. Boom goes the orange economy, all the wind turbines, the production, and everything else around it. Aphis pops, and just like that, the blue team is pushed into the backline of the, well, part of the backline of the red team, not the entire backline. We do still have tons of naval economy up and running. Throndo very low on health, but does manage to walk out of there alive. Just barely, but barely is all it really takes. Teleported back immediately. Not bad whatsoever. EMP bombs. Oh, they don't do any damage, so that commander manages to walk away with all 28 of its HP. But very, very close call. Sharpshooter's doing about 8% to the shield, but they... Well, the shield obviously regenerates very quickly, so you need quite a lot of sharpshooters in order to blast it down, and then also kill the commander. Sustaining that rate of fire, essentially. I believe these commanders can also build... I must be thinking of the Nutty Raptors mod. I believe they could also build the... gosh, what are they called? The Resbots, but apparently not in this game. Tenebo's in a little bit of trouble here as the Legion Commander marches forward. Legion Commanders with specifically quite a lot of build range. They essentially, like I said before, designed to be factories. They're designed to be mobile factories. Now, you know what? That plasma gun is actually pretty good. Doing some significant work against the Orange Commander there. If I understand correctly, the thing about the Cortex Commanders is supposed to be very thin, very cheap in the armor plating, but that shielding technology is very potent. So they have really heavy shields, but then once you get past them, they don't have very much in the way of health. S-Leopard pushing forward, though. A joint strike right here from the blue commanders, and just like that, both of these green heroes managed to march forward. S-Leopard cloaking both the commanders right now before attacking, annihilating the base over here. Oh, can we build another effigy? What happens if you get two commanders? Can you build another effigy with one of them? Oh, I bet you could. Yeah, we do have effigies back here. Oh, those effigies are so strange. Those effigies make this so strange. It is interesting you leave behind a metal pile though when you are quote unquote killed. Definitely makes that a little bit stranger. I've seen stranger things, but definitely feels a little bit stranger. Do we have... shields deflect everything as well. That's good. That's probably good for this game mode right here. You can see these boats shelling away at the coastline right here, but the plasma deflector, the overseer, able to deflect those missiles. That's a setting, that's an advanced setting on its own that you can enable. Nuclear missiles launched. Ooh, anti-nuke is shot up, but it's a little too late, just moments too late. And the Tan Commander is hit hard as the economy goes up in smoke, all built on that island, losing just about everything. We do have a little bit of production left over here, but suffice it to say, all those mechs is down the drain, leaves our poor hero Akseth with not a lot of hope. Not much to believe in. Misa Cage just going on hit and run missions, essentially. Building effigies with this commander and then sending another one out. Makes it a very, very potent combo. Yep. Boat's trying to find this commander, but having a hard time with it. He doesn't want to show it until we're up and running. This is why you need those pinpointers in the late game, so you can find commanders that are cloaked. There we go. Commander revealed. Lightning gun here from Kirill. Trying to shut down the pink commander. Oh, Misa looking for any opportunities. Not much to D-gun over here. There's a little bit of economy. There's some mexes and that sort of stuff. Oh, no. There he is. Misa finally spotted. And back to the effigy he goes. That's so risky. So tricky, because obviously as soon as you have those effigies, it means that you're essentially perfectly capable of just continuously respawning the commander. Misa Cage's commander that was teleported back over here did go down, by the way. Also means there's a lot more commander wreckages out of the map as they get constantly teleported around and die. The heavy AoE seaplanes blasting down the other planes with relative ease, but so slow. Man, those things look like they're swimming through molasses. Well, there's the, that's, I forget what that one's called, the other seaplane. We've got Cyclones and we've got Bats. Oh, I guess they're just the same as regular. Heavy AoE seaplane fighter, and I believe it's a Banisher missile that they have loaded up on top of them. Oh, there we are. I was wondering where the firepower was coming from. Jim Jam Jammin and Mithron Rudo, the brown and almost like Coco, I want to call it. Coco and Minecraft colored commander over here. Crazy for Cocoa Puffs, and Jim Jam Jammin is looking to penetrate these shields, get into the base as much as possible. Oh, no, we didn't notice. Didn't notice that those were shooting at something. There we go. Commander spotted. Boom, and away it goes. Dies just outside of range here, and that's a permadeath, too. There was no effigy to save that commander. The plasma deflector shields on this commander are saving this Cortex commander from absolute annihilation. Shield's very tricky. Yeah, it seems like they're very, very difficult to get through. D-Bone able to penetrate them with the lightning gun on his commander, but having a very hard time. Ah, there we go. Yeah, it almost looks like the Armada commander is a little bit better than the Cortex commander in one-on-one combat, but the Cortex commanders are quite a bit better than units, I want to say. Slowly, but eventually, surely, we do get to the point where those commanders duke it out to the death, and D-Bone does come out on top with tons of reclaim wreckage in order to pick all that up. It should be perfectly fine. Continuing to scale the economies is the most important part here. We've got Chai, who's been building fighters, bombers, all sorts of stuff. Actually, it's mostly just torpedo bombers here. Don't mind it one bit, because those torpedo bombers are going to be exactly what you want to clear out all of this Navy control. Still some nukeable areas I see as well. Not sure where that nuke came from. The last one did good work, though. Another one wouldn't be bad. These heavy seaplane bombers would be really nice if these bombers were all spread out. They're also dropping their bombs a little prematurely. We're kind of focusing the wrong targets here, I feel like. Best bet would probably be to just spread these out and issue a fight command. But as long as resources are going down the drain, down the enemy's drain, that is, I think everybody's going to be more than happy. Torpedo bombers. They group it up, and that makes it very, very easy for those AoE fighters to shoot them down really nicely. All said and done, though, clearing this shoreline, definitely well worth it. And I would say well done. Jim Jammin, now essentially knocked out. Well, except that he just took over a massive portion of the economy, so there we go. Back in it. The naval contest over here has been won as well. Despite having capital ships up and running, the overwhelming presence of destroyers, sort of a mixed bag of units really, has managed to turn the tides over here. Torpedo bombers, very useful as well, of course. But in this case, the numbers are overwhelming the capital ship. Wouldn't mind seeing these paladins move to the other side so that we get the flanking bonus. Almost doubling your damage, you can get that flanking bonus. But at least this fight does look like it's coming to an end in the favor of the blue commander, or the purple commander, pardon me. Colors are hard these days. So many of them when there's 32 commanders in a game. Becomes very, very hectic. Sheldon's having effectively nothing to say against this Cortex commander here. Lightning guns, though, very nice. And indeed, with 3 different commanders under, well, his command, Anarami is in a wonderful state. We're about to get a 4th one up and running here as well. That's a Cortex commander. We've got different levels of Cortex commander, and it looks like you keep your level when you, when you level up. It looks like you maintain the commander's level, but it looks like you lose the commander's experience. Very interesting indeed. Little base coming up right here for the blue commander. He's got quite a lot of metal extractors up and running now, and also quite a few effigies, which is interesting. Apparently, commander is gaining a new effigy every time they're resurrected, which is an interesting way to cheese multiple multiple effigies. It's clearing my face right there. Multiple referees. That's what I was trying to say for some reason. Still, the air presence is not diabolical here for the, oh gosh, the raspberry-colored pink commander here. Synthetic sludge. Quite a lot of fighters up and running, but ultimately I think volume is going to win out here. And most of the red team is tapping out, as it would appear. The blue team managing to hold strong. Miza's still going for it over here, yeah. Trying to find an opportunity. Oh, D-gun on the Aphis. Boom! Goes the entire base right there for Chai. Oh my goodness. The commander with 0 HP will finally go down. The scourge of the backline of the blue team. But finally it does fall. Just like that. Chai's entire economy is knocked off the map, but that means he has nothing left to lose. So these torpedo bombers are going to head across the map and start trying to deal damage. They need to unclump themselves, but if they manage to do that, if they manage not to all die to the same volley of attacks, then I think they'll be in a fabulous position. Anti-air defense is trying their best to shoot them down. Yeah, this is why you have to fight them. If you attack command them, they'll shoot at the ground, not the surface of the water. It's actually something I wish that we could change. Having them target a surface of the water area rather than a ground area of the water definitely would make them quite a bit more effective. Maybe just a little more intuitive, really, is all that would change, but it would certainly make them a little easier to control. And they're famously one of those harder units to micromanage properly. You have to put a lot of faith in their automatic targeting. Automatic or not, though, these bases are ruined. Torpedo bombers have taken out all the production over here. That's multiple yellow and pink and brown and tan commanders all going down right there. Capital ship now up and running for our blue commander in the sea, Woody, who is now trying to pressure across the map in order to break whatever that they can. I think these torpedo bombers can just continue shelling away, though, and eventually we're going to find ourselves in a really nice position. There's a commander under the sea right there, and it wouldn't be a bad target. Just pop that commander, and all the rest of it is doomed to go down as well. Apparently these torpedo bombers are a little more focused on the economy. Can't blame them for it either. The economy is obviously very important to bring down. No economy means no production, means no fighters for the next wave of bombers that do come out. We are, well, effectively out of bombers, so we need to get as much value as we can right now. But the red team is certainly on the back foot, with the blue team commanding more and more presence every single second in this game. I have a feeling everyone in the match knows exactly where this is going. Micecade's trying to hold on right here. We do have effigies trying to hold their own. Commander's in a lot of trouble too. Sheldon unable to do anything though. Down goes a Cortex commander, and Armada one in quite a lot of trouble as well. Anarami with 4 commanders is brutal. Down he goes. Another commander bites the dust. Miza Cage with one more out at the seas here. 20 commanders available for the blue team though. And at the end of the day, when evolving commanders is enabled, I feel like that's really the number to pay attention to. The firepower those commanders can spew out of their eyes, their guns, their cloaking fields. Unparalleled on the map. And it looks like Mysa Cage will be the last one holding any sort of hold on this match right here. Farming up those statistics until the very last commander does fall. GG is called right there as the blue team seizes victory by pushing forward on this right-hand side, winning their fight over here where the red team lost theirs, and it meant, ultimately, that they would claim victory in this game of Beyond All Reason. Thanks a ton for watching. I know it was a bit of a stranger match, so let me know what you thought about it down below in the comment section. Always happy to hear what you guys have to say, or if I missed anything, others will be happy that you pointed it out as well, and I will see you in the very next game of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.